And so despite the toughness of global economy and local economy in the last few years, we've tried our very best. With our years on the ground, we tried our very best to ensure our economy weathers the storm. I am here to inform you it is not as bad as it may seem. We now just trying to come out of the COVID-19 pandemic. The world is opening up. We are opening up. In fact, we opened up much earlier than most of planet Earth because we knew our small economy cannot remain shut down for so long. And we took the risk of balancing economy and the health issues. In the last 2 years or so, we've kept ourselves going. And today we're coming out, and I just want to infuse hope into all of you who are here. In the midst of many uncertainties, especially you would have seen the last few months, the effect of imported inflation as a result of the high fuel price, high energy price, the war in Russia and Ukraine caused stress again to our very fragile economy that we were trying to take out from our COVID-19 pandemic. And government once again, was not silent. We made some interventions, and I just want to read through you some interventions we made in case many thought we were not cognizant of the tough times. Businesses, and also importantly our small people were going through. Before the Parliament rose, we authorized in Parliament 610 million kina relief to assist the burdens our people were carrying through as a result of the inflation that was related to Russia-Ukraine war. It came in 4 components. For instance, the 250 million kina that was removed from taxes of what the ordinary property units, the low wage earners would have paid. By the fact that we increased the threshold of tax non-paying employees from what was 12,500 kina threshold to a 17,500 kina threshold. We also had 100 million kina reduced from the prices of key consumable items at the Bowser, at the supermarket tills. We expect matching reduction in price of rice, tin fish, pulled beef, and the essential everyday household needs of the family. We also, for instance, removed 126 million kina from at the fuel. Also would be paying fuel. There was a matching 10% reduction of the fuel levy that was removed, and we also removed project fee from Papua New Guinean families. All in all, it rounded up to 610 million kina worth of intervention. Today we're looking again on how best we could make further interventions, and I just want to give you a possible indication of what the Treasurer might do in the supplementary budget that is coming up. We're possibly going to increase further the threshold of non-tax-paying employees, those at the bottom end of our wage salary levels, and that might be increased up to 20,000, for instance. The more concession we give like this, we hope that the money is spent in the economy, because the ordinary Papua New Guineans who take home a little bit of 50 kina, that 50 kina is not saved. That 50 kina is again spent in the extra food, or the food and the goods that they take home with them, putting back more money into the hands of our low wage earners and our ordinary. We hope in the process there's a free flow of liquidity in our economy in tough times. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning's meeting is taking place right after I announced my cabinet. As I did mention earlier, and some ministers are here, our cabinet was structured or is structured deliberately to make a jump start at the economy while securing the safety of our economy, our country, as well as how we relate internationally. Our economy needs to be propped up. 80% of our people are still unengaged, yet they have access to land. Combining people, land, and market is something we are trying to ramp up in the next 5 years. People have land, people in the subsistence sector. How do we migrate people, land, and the energy into the cash economy? I just give you an indication. For instance, if a million families in our country work their land and they start to earn some money, you just do your mathematics. If new money is earned by people from the land through agriculture, through livestock, through sustainable forestry, through fisheries, then this is money that is generated, streamed, and captured in the economy. Those of you who are already in business, whether in the financial sector, or in the service sectors, or in the other sectors of our economy, you then will be able to capture what is then being grown from within. We're trying to touch the base. At the moment, it's purely unsustainable. The high up 20% earn money, and we're trying to spin down to the bottom 80%. That must be reversed at the very earliest. The 80% must also participate. Not doing so will keep our country forever fragile, because the 80% will be dependent on handouts from governments and rentals. And so those are our intentions. We deliberately structure a cabinet to go into the rationale of bringing the 80% into the formal cash economy. Some people call me crazy or government crazy, Minister for Coffee. I don't think there is ever any other minister for coffee. Today you're drinking a cup of coffee here. There's 1.5 billion new Chinese coming to coffee drinking in the next 10 years, 15 years and going forward. The world is drinking coffee every day. Coffee is the biggest agricultural produce and commodity on the trade commodity market, globally speaking. It is not wrong for us to have a focus on coffee and people on land. I'm telling them, I am a Prime Minister who is here not to tell you, government will give you free handout. Go back to where your land is. We will create a market for you. Our people also are told to go back to cacao, copra, vanilla, and all the exportable commodities we have in our country. Our people and industry are asked to participate greatly in our oil palm, for instance. Who says oil palm is not a big sector? You look at Indonesia on the other side. My friend, the Malaysian High Commissioner sitting here, oil palm sustains their economy. What's wrong with us converting our grasslands into green land? And oil palm is growing in the Makam valleys, in the Ramu valleys, in the Sipik plains, and right throughout the length and breadth of the country. Our government is now gearing towards leapfrogging from just a 20% base economy functioning, population functioning economy, to bringing the 80% who are left behind in rural enclaves, expect the government to feed them handouts. We're telling them, we're not going to feed you. You grow yourself, you feed yourself. At the moment you're feeding yourself on the subsistence sector or economy, come now, join us into the cash economy. That is where we're headed, and we've tasked all our department heads accordingly. You have key resource areas to deliver to the government. And no longer will we expect ministers only to assess them or ministers to work with them. As we distribute cabinet portfolios, we gave them key result areas we expect results to be born for us. And this includes how many bags of coffee must leave our country, how many tons of oil palm must leave our country, what is the copra production, what is the cocoa production, what is the livestock production. And talk about food, my friends who are here. If you're looking to catch the attention of government, I point you to partnerships that you could embrace us. Food sector and our natural resource sector, especially downstream in forestry, downstream in fisheries, and agriculture is the space we're looking at. I ask those of you who have sufficient liquidity in your portfolios, don't sit, wait around, and just buy treasury bills and livestock. That is okay. You can keep some of your safety nets in this place. If you are real Papua New Guinea institutions, go into the downstream sector space our government is focused. That is why we appointed. That is why we appointed a senior minister, the Honorable Richard Marape, who brings to the table wealth of experience, so that he works on the international trade aspect. Our focus is not just domestic Papua New Guinea market. Our 10 million people is insufficient to consume all our domestic producers. We are targeting the Asian marketplace. And there was a forum similar to this in Brisbane. I was in Singapore. It was a deliberate act. What more do you want to hear from me? You've heard me since 2019. Jump on board, find your space in the sector of partnering government that goes into the downstream sector. We want to leapfrog from where we are today to the next. What is wrong with the national leadership? Bringing the highest ideal for our people. And the first and earliest opportunity will be given to each and every one of you in this room. You already have traveled with us the last 46 years. You've been part of our story, whether you're an investor from Australia or elsewhere, or you're a domestic investor and local businesses. Without you, we have not come this far. We could not have come this far the manner we have come. You've paid your taxes. You've been an important part of our story. In fact, you are part of our story. And so we ask you, join us. We want to ensure our special economic zones throughout the length and breadth of our country are worked on. We want to ensure we give special concessions and discounts. You know, what's wrong with giving agricultural companies and forestry companies and fishery companies discounts that we've been giving to the mining sector and oil and gas sector? We're willing to look at policies that is friendly so that we generate more business in our country for export and import substitution. The earliest place of import substitution will be food. We do not want to import food anymore. I told the Australian Foreign Minister that visited us, and God bless the Honourable Penny Wong. We told her it is about time Australia buy PNG product. We will go into space and policy for PNG. It's about time USA buy PNG product. If Great Britain can be here doing business in our oil and gas, in our oil palm sector, and buying products, and in Europe some buying products from us, in fisheries, in agriculture, it's about time those closer to home pick up. We will be setting up our trade missions in partnership with our diplomatic missions in our region and further abroad to ensure our producers are better known and better sold. Ladies and gentlemen, the marketplace available to us is endless. Last night I was speaking to my government caucus, speaking on some issues that related to politics and geopolitics, and I was counseling our government caucus. If the 1800s were European century, if the 1900s was USA century, the 2000s would be the Asian century. The combustion and appetite for food and energy and export of tourism is in Asia. Papua New Guinea must place itself to supply Papua New Guinea needs as well as export to Asia if the West will not come with us. And this is where my government is placing and structuring our cabinet portfolio and the departments that run below us to ensure we position our country to participate in what will emerge as the next 100 years driven by consumer appetite in the Asian region. The marketplace is close to us. Papua New Guinea has good bilateral relationship with the 10th biggest economy in Japan. Papua New Guinea has good bilateral relationship with the 11th biggest economy in South Korea. Papua New Guinea has good bilateral relationship with a powerhouse, a huge nation with consumer appetite. 270 million people walk away into Indonesia. Papua New Guinea has a very good bilateral relationship with China and India. Both has 1.4 billion people. These need food, these need energy, and Papua New Guinea is now placing itself not in raw export of food materials, or not in raw export of possible energy and other resources we are producing here. We want to leapfrog from raw export into the downstream sector. I want to appeal to those of you who are here. You are our business houses in our country. You're the first place for me to ask you to partner me in the space and partner the leaders in the space of value adding on our resources and getting into the downstream processing space. These are conversations that you talk will not be progress beyond 2022. We forgot that Papua New Guineans are listening. They listened and returned this government back into office. Run with me, let's get into harnessing the natural benefits we have in our country, and let us move into the space of tapping into agriculture, tapping into forestry, tapping into fisheries, in the downstream sector space, and of course, in the oil and gas, as we progress Pinyan, as we progress Papua, as we progress Pasca, as we progress Pandora, and as we continue to manage PNG LNG. Give me a solution to cheaper energy in my own country. I cannot bear to wait to get on fuel that is bent against Singapore price or global price. A question that my people ask me all the time, Mr. Prime Minister, how come we're producing energy yet fuel price and energy price is very high? We're looking for solutions to bring the cost of energy down in our country. Those of you already in this sector offer us these solutions so that we can find partnership and to make PNG an economy that is secured with cheap energy, secured with domestically produced food, and we are exporting the balance elsewhere to the world closer to us, which is a big marketplace. Our government stands ready to ensure we hear you. Your proposals for policy will be heard, so long as Papua New Guinea wins and you are winning. I repeat, we have ears to hear you, we've been hearing you. Your proposals to assist in our policy promulgation, policy development, and eventually laws, that some will be changed and some will be anchored and entrenched and tied. Your contributions must be geared towards Papua New Guinea winning, and you also, as business, make a healthy return on your investments. And if you make those return on investments, special consideration will be given to those of you who will plow back these investments in our country. Gone must be the days where productions are made in our country and GDP is grown elsewhere. Gone must be the days where production are made in this country and GDP is grown elsewhere. We're looking to tidy this space so that together you make your profit, you remain here, you employ Papua New Guineans and the experts that you want to bring in, and we make PNG a better place going forward. Government gives you our fullest commitment. Our focus on the enabling environment, our focus on the enabling infrastructure, our focus on the environment, enabling work ethics. You know we've already passed ICAC. We will not stop. We will go towards progressing and prosecuting corrupt practitioners in our country. ICAC will be functional at the very earliest. You know, drive towards ensuring that saving for the future, including solar well fund, is being looked at to be brought into the fray at the very, very earliest. These are our work to make our country a better place. And for you who have been part of us, I say thank you very much. Find a space to partner our state-owned enterprises. And by the way, state-owned enterprise reforms is working very, very well. You saw some profits announced by Air New Guinea. There will be some profits announced by Telecom. This is all part of a concerted effort to get to work with our private state-owned enterprises to ensure they're also serving our country better. I look forward to working with you. Please continue to send to us, even if some of your recommendations are stiff or strong. We're not dictatorship running the country. We are a Melanesian democracy. We have time to listen to every conversation on the table, so long as PNG win and you win. Let's find a balance. God bless each and every one of you.